Hello, I'm Leonardo Mackenzie from the Last Inklings, and in this very short series of videos I'm briefly going over how I play and sing the cello at the same time. So in previous videos I've shown you how to play a major chord shape and a minor chord shape. Now, just as a very quick reminder, I'll show you what those two things look like up close, and I'll use a D chord as an example. If I want to play a D major chord on the cello, I need to bar D and A with my first finger and then add with my third finger an F sharp. This is on the D string. So I'm playing D, A, F sharp. There's a tone difference between this finger and this finger in terms of distance down the fingerboard, and together they make a major sound. Now, if I swap my third finger for my second, the distance is now just a semitone between those 2 points. I've got D, A, and an F natural this time. And that pattern, 1-1-2, gives me the minor chord instead. So I've got 1-1-3 for a major chord, 1-1-2 for a minor chord. And the chord will be named after whatever the lowest note is that we can hear. So in this case, D minor, D major. As a quick comparison, I could also have E minor, E major. Now this video is more about the different patterns that you could use to accompany yourself using some simple chords, and how to start to get comfortable singing at the same time as playing one of these simple patterns. So the example I've gone for is a Katy Perry song called Thinking of You, and there are really 4 chords that are important as we go around this tune, and the tune is in 4/4. Now the 4 chords that we have are D major, A major, B minor, and G major. Now the D major is D, A, and F sharp. The A major chord is A, E, and C sharp. The B minor chord, B, F sharp, D. Although I'm not actually going to move my entire hand up to play it, I'm going to stay in first position when I play this chord. I'm going to bar the B and the F sharp with my third finger and play the D with my fourth. And the G major, which is the open G string, open D string, and B on the A string. Now, I've already listened to the song and checked where these chords fall, and each of them lasts for 4 counts. So we have D for 4 counts, A for 4 counts, B minor for 4 counts, and G major for 4 counts. Now the easiest way to get used to that to start with is literally play the chords, just plucking all 3 strings at once. I'm using my thumb, index finger and middle finger, and count out the beats. So we'd get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Simplest way to begin. Once you get comfortable with that, I would start to then maybe just say the lyrics. In this particular tune, we'd have comparisons are easily done once you've had a taste of perfection. You start to feel the cadence of the rhythm in your voice, and I would go through that a few times until you then go on to trying to sing the melody. Comparisons are easily done once you've had a taste of perfection. That's one simple method. You're just plucking the chord once and you've built yourself up by counting out loud, talking the lyrics over what you're plucking so you don't have to worry too much about pitch, and then singing over what you're plucking. Now, the second method, just starting to arpeggiate the chord. So we're adding a rhythmic element here, but it's not too difficult. So if I take the D chord to begin with, what I'm going to do with each of these chords is play the 3 notes. I'm going to give the first note 1 beat, the second note 1 beat, and the third note of the chord will get the 2 final beats of the bar. So here I'm playing D, A, F sharp, and the count will be 1, 2, 3, 4. That F sharp taking up beats 3 and 4. So if I played through all those chords in order, I'd get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. next step from there, obviously you can try speaking the lyrics over that pattern. Comparisons are easily done once you've had a taste of perfection. And there you started to do something slightly more complex. And the final step, again, would be trying to sing the lyrics with their melody over that simple picking pattern. Comparisons are easily done once you've had a taste of perfection. Very simple pattern. Now if you want to flesh that out a little bit more and maybe have something that's a little bit more driving, I would suggest picking the lowest note of the chord, back to the D major chord, that's just the D, and then I'm going to play a pair of strings. I'm actually going to pick that D with my thumb, and using my index finger and middle finger, I'm going to play the other two notes of that chord, the leftover notes there being A and F sharp. I'm just going to alternate those. And so they're all happening on another beat, so I go 1, 2, 3, 4. On beats 2 and beats 4 I'm playing the pair of notes. So I could go through the whole sequence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, once you get used to that picking pattern, you can try speaking the lyrics over the top. Comparisons are easily done once you've... And then the next step, singing them. Comparisons are easily done once you've had a taste of perfection, like... And that helps because I know every single chord, all I'm doing there, I know my pattern is just bass pick, 2 notes together, bass pick, 2 notes together. It's easy to tell where I am in the pattern because I'm just oscillating between the 2 different points. So all of those are methods for accompanying yourself in a song that fits roughly a 4/4 pattern. The first thing might just be to pluck the chords, one at a time. The second thing you could possibly do is just pluck each individual note, arpeggiate each note once. That still works. Then you may want to play the bass note and 2 notes together. And I'm doing that with my thumb, and then first 2 fingers. That works. If you want a slightly more involved picking pattern, the final one that I might fall back on when I'm first learning a tune in 4/4 uses quite a lot of arpeggiation. You're crossing lots of different strings repeatedly, and you're falling between the beat as well, so you're playing on the and of each count. I'm playing 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. It's actually quite a simple picking pattern. The first 4 picks, I'm going up the chord and back down by 1 note. In very real terms, with the D major chord, I'm playing D, A, F sharp, A. And that's the 1 and 2 and. The last part, you're sort of reversing that pattern, really. I'm going to play F sharp, A, D, A. And that's the 3 and 4 and. F sharp, A, D, A. When I put those together, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and D, A, F sharp, A, F sharp, A, D, A. That little pattern you can add to all the rest of those chords because they're all 3 notes being played. First of all, I'd suggest counting the beats out loud, including the and of each beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... When you get comfortable with that, try not to count the and, the half beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. After that, again, you can try speaking the lyrics over the top of that pattern. Comparisons are easily done once you've had a taste of perfection. You're not worrying so much about the pitch. And the final step, try a short phrase with the vocals at the same time. So we get comparisons are easily done once you've had a taste of perfection. So what we've just gone through there are picking patterns for a song with 4 counts in every bar, roughly. And you've got just playing the chord, arpeggiating that, maybe alternating bass note and pairs of notes, or a slightly more involved arpeggiation. And each time it's worth trying to count the beat out loud as you do that, perhaps speak the lyrics, and then start trying to sing them. As an intermediate point, if you find it difficult to leap into just the singing, just use a vowel sound or a simple syllable to sing through the entire thing first. So we could just la through a whole song. La la da la da 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 la da dum da 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 dum, before you have to add anything difficult like remembering the words at the same time. Now, if you're playing a song with 3 beats in every bar, it's a slightly different pattern that you might want to use. Now, for this as an example, I've chosen a song called 10 Years From Now, and Vivian Long performs this on her latest album. And there's also a session on YouTube that you'll be able to find. Now, the chords here, we've got a G major chord. Just very quickly, that's open G, open D, and first finger B. We briefly have a B minor chord. Now, you could slide up and play it as 1, 1, 2, which is B, F sharp, D. Then we have an A minor chord, which is A, E, and C natural, 1, 1, 2 again. And the last chord that we have in this is a D major chord. We've got D, A, F sharp, just like we were using in the last example. The only difference is this time the song has a pulse of 3. Now I know already how many different chords we'll need. We'd need 7 of these G chords, 7 bars worth. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, followed by 1 B minor, 2 A minors, 2 D majors, back to the G for 2, then the D for 2 again. That would be the simplest way to play it, and you could just count the beat out for each bar. A bit like a waltz, you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Which works as a very simple pattern. Again, you could then try speaking the lyrics. Hello, my darling. Hello, my friend. Are you speaking to me? Have we come to the end of our brief conversation, and so on? You could, as an intermediate, try just humming, la-ing the melody line. Da 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 dum da 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 dum da 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 dum da 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 dum da 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 dum da, before you try singing it. Hello, my darling. Hello, my friend. Are you speaking to me? Have we come to the end of our brief conversation? And so on. Now, another pattern you can use is just arpeggiating the chord again. We're playing 1 note at a time from the chord, from the lowest note to the highest. Because we're in 3, they each get 1 beat. 1, 2, 3. And every chord could be played like this as many times as needed. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, and so on. And from there, we can move on to perhaps plucking the bass note and the 2 top notes again, a bit like we did in 4, but this time we would pluck the bass note once and the top pair of the chord twice, which gives a very typical waltzy pattern. And again, with all of these, perhaps start off counting the beat out loud. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, before you eventually try the melody. Da 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 dum dum da 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 dum, before you then add the lyrics. Hello, my darling. Hello my friend, are you speaking to me? Have we come to the end of our brief conversation that breeds to dismay? I know 10 years from now I'll still want you this way. And there we have a handful of variations. You don't have to stick to those chord patterns. Obviously there's lots of rhythmic variation, but it's a good place to start. And if you're going to practice these, again, I would recommend finding out how long those chords last for. You probably need to listen to the original song for that, unless you know it particularly well. And try plucking it and counting the beat out loud with each of the different patterns. Try speaking the words and then start to add in singing them at the same time. And you can mix and match them as well. In that very, very first song in 4/4, the Katy Perry tune, you could, for example, hold the first few chords and then start to vary the patterns that you're using for the rest. Comparisons are easily done once you've had a taste of perfection, like an apple hanging from a tree. I picked the ripest one, I've still got the seed. You've got some choices there. In a future video, I'm going to have a look at different patterns that you can use when you're bowing. I would recommend starting with pizzicato because you can be a little bit more flexible with the intonation, although you should be aiming to play as in tune as possible. When you start using the bow, it tends to bring those out and it's easier to hear if you're slightly sharp, slightly flat. So obviously it's worth practicing for that reason, but it can leave you a little bit more exposed. So just as you're getting started using your voice and the cello at the same time, the pizzicato is kind of your friend there. But in future we'll look at some of the different things that we can do when you want to add in that extra texture.